I really do feel like one thing that we don't often take into account is the fact that over 70% of people experience some form of setback during their career or lifelong journey. So the simple fact that it's this common really does give me that sense of comfort that I need, understanding that just like the other 70% of people that may have went through something similar and overcame it, I know I can do the exact same thing. And that's why I feel like it's just very important for us to stay motivated during setbacks, staying motivated during the times where you feel like giving up, or the times where you may not even have the support that you necessarily need in order to keep going. And I really am a firm believer that our overall success has more to do with our daily habits than the inspiration that we may get from the outside world, because this form of inspiration, all it does is it just gives you a little bit of momentum. It puts you in that headspace where you may feel like you're on top of the world and everything's going your way. But that feeling of feeling inspired, what we don't realize is it's temporary. We are not always going to feel good. We are not always going to feel motivated to get up and do the things that we know that we should be doing. But our habits, the things that are actually more instinctive to us, are what we're ultimately going to lean towards during those low moments. But this sense of staying motivated during hard times is never going to be easy. But the way that I like to look at life, you shouldn't even want an easy way of living. You shouldn't even want a life that doesn't necessarily put you in a headspace to think and expand. Really take the time right now to think about how boring life would be. And I'm gonna say boring because in reality, you need to go through things to feel things. You need to experience and witness certain obstacles or challenges in order to expand and grow. That's just the way that life works. We don't always learn from what people are telling us. Sometimes we have to, majority of the times, we have to get put through things firsthand and go through them on our own for us to actually learn and gain that sense of wisdom. So when you understand that everything is happening for a reason in your life, it makes this concept of any type of hardship or you lacking motivation way more tasteful, being able to see it through. But you gotta stay motivated and you have to stay grounded at moments like this. Focus on the things that truly matter to you. And what I do when I get put in a position, where I may be stagnant or I just may lack that sense of, purpose for the things that I'm pursuing, right? What I do is I always remember why I started. I really sit myself down and I dig deep and I tell myself, like, why did I begin whatever it is that I'm doing? And that single thought completely shifts my mindset. And I just lock back in. And that's how it should be. There's nothing wrong with feeling low and feeling like things may not work out for you, but there is something wrong with quitting and giving up on yourself. And I don't want any of y'all to get put in a position where you may actually value and want to do something with yourself, and then you experience some form of hardship and then you give up. But it's common to feel discouraged and frustrated during setbacks. We all go through it. And I don't know about y'all, but it really does make me feel good knowing that I'm not going through something alone, or knowing that I'm not necessarily the first person on this planet to feel this way. It gives me that sense of confidence in the future, knowing that it does not matter what I go through, I can overcome it. And what we don't often realize about tough times or even just, bad days that we may have is that sometimes we allow ourselves to sit in that form of negativity, and then it lasts way longer than it needs to last. And I used to do this so much when I was younger, just pondering on the thought of a specific event or a thing that may happen in my life and not just brush it off and move on. You have to brush off this setback, whatever it is that you're dealing with. Yes, it may be hard. Yes, you could be dealing with family emergencies, but the sooner that you accept things for what they are, the sooner that you'll be able to move on. But all of these experiences overall are universal. People felt the exact same way prior to you being here or being born, and it's going to be that same way even after we're all gone. But one thing that I do to maintain this sense of motivation is I practice small goals. I don't put myself in a position to put too much on my plate, because that can be overwhelming and it can discourage a lot of people from setting goals in the future or wanting to go out and achieve things, because when you put too much on your plate, it's kind of hard for you to feel confident in your ability to get those things done. So it just makes life way more difficult for you to go out and do the things that you want to do. But if you set small goals, something that's more realistic, and slowly build on those, it just ends up being way more worthwhile. And another thing that I feel like is very important is just having a strong support system. Your friends, your family, whatever the case may be, you need to have somebody that you can speak to and kind of release the pressure on your life. We cannot do everything by ourselves. I know as men, and a lot of women are like this too, you know, you may just be so full of pride and you may not want to be a burden to, the next person. But if you have resources available, if you have people that love and genuinely care about you, then you need to utilize them. People are there for you, people care for you, and you need to be able to speak freely and express yourself in a way that helps you, be able to move on from this hard time that you're facing. And quick little story time, man, I'll never forget this, and this really hit me so different. But I remember, and I think it was 2021, somewhere near that time. But anyways, my life was going good. I was getting ready to buy a house, and I had recently got out the military. I'll say this like every video, but long story short, I'm thinking about ways that I can invest my money so that it can grow. So I'm doing things like, buying crypto. I'm doing things like, obviously about to buy a house. And I'm like, okay, what are some other ways that I can make money? Maybe I should rent out cars. And then I had this one friend who did sports betting. And at the time, I didn't know anything about it. I'm just like, okay, I see him making thousands and thousands of dollars. It seems like a good investment to me. Cool. It's not necessarily casino gambling. It's you just bet on a sport or a team that you think is going to win. So in my head, for some reason, it made sense. And I felt like I could just go to the moon with it. And it ended up being one of the biggest setbacks of my life, because what I wasn't told and what I had to learn is the fact that, gambling overall is a lose-lose type of game. Yes, you can win. Yes, you are going to have times where you win, but overall, it is a losing game because it does so much to you mentally, to where even if you were succeeding financially, the burden that it has on you mentally is just not worth it in the long run. But long story short, man, I ended up losing so much money, probably like 13K, just trying to win. That was a huge setback for me. And I had to persist through me having that idea of wanting to invest in myself and understand that not all investments are necessarily the right way to go, if that makes sense. I have to be smart with my finances, and I have to do the things that are ultimately going to put me in a better headspace. And that was not one of the things. But I stayed grounded overall, just understanding that, I was in complete control of how this turns out. So it was up to me to allow myself to be fully consumed by this thought of losing that much money, or just move on and let it grow and actually grow and learn from it. And that's exactly what I did. And if you're in a situation where you're just going through any type of setback, whether it's financially, whether it's, family wise, just life wise, trying to find your overall purpose, you really just have to keep going. Because I promise you, at the end of the day, at some point, you're going to realize that it was just that very moment where I may have doubted myself, but I actually persisted through that feeling, or that fear that I may have had, that I needed. And you're going to be so thankful that you were able to do that. But it's very important for you to always, carry this sense of resilience with you, because you're going to be faced with so many different challenges in life, even some after this very moment. This is not going to be the last thing that you go through. This is not going to be the last setback, but you have to have that type of mindset where it doesn't matter what you go through, that you can overcome it. This is exactly how I think. I'm not afraid of hard times. I'm not afraid of struggling mentally or whatever you want to call it, because I know, just like every other challenge that I faced in my life, I can overcome it. I know that I have the tools and the resources and the state of mind, the mentality to overcome any challenge that I face. And this is exactly how we have to view life, as an opportunity to grow and to expand, not being afraid of setbacks, not being afraid of failing, but really embracing your overall uniqueness and the flaws that come with being a human being. But if you've been faced with any type of setback, man, drop a comment. I want to hear about y'all personal experience or personal setbacks. As y'all can see, I go through them all the time. I shared one with y'all, but I want to hear a few of y'all setbacks, man, and we'll elaborate on that. But if you made it to the end of the video, I just want to say thank you so much. It's your boy Blue J Tay. Drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.